Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from the Smut Studio in Venice Beach, California, with my co-host, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Doing a little sound effects over there, huh?
Yeah, you told me that we have one Miller Lite, the official beer of the Dirty Sports Podcast, left. I said, what time is it? You said
Miller time.
Wednesday, and I said, good enough. And
It's Monday.
if you say so. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. When in Rome. You know what I mean?
This whole quarantine has really changed the concept of time.
Really has. We were just saying on the ride up here, I was like, I feel like time has slowed down. Like, it feels way longer than 2 weeks. I mean, I know the time frame for many people in many cities and states across the globe is different, but pretty officially here in Los Angeles, the quarantine's been happening about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I was in Alabama. I got back 2 weeks ago today.
They still do not know in Alabama.
No, just we don't have any cases. And they're like, you still don't have any tests, guys. That's why you don't have any cases. Actually, the day I was there, they had just started opening a drive-through situation. I think it's easier when you're not in, like, the big cities like we are. They just go, okay, you want a test?
Yeah.
Come through. But it's yeah, the time has completely stopped.
Yeah,
Feels like years ago that we started this.
I know. I mean, we went to that Ducks Blues game. That was almost 3 Wednesdays ago. And that's not that long ago. And you talk about time standing still. I saw when I was driving to grab you in Hermosa, I saw a mural for Kobe Bryant. Think about that. Like, Kobe Bryant died with his daughter in a horrific helicopter crash. Nobody's talking about it, but that's my point. Like,
I don't even remember. What was the date of that?
It was the end of January.
Right.
But that's my point of that's such secondary news.
Although, to be fair, people talked about it so extensively in the weeks after it happened. It's almost like we ignored the coronavirus because, Beyonce and Alicia Keys and Jimmy Kimmel, they're all going to Staples and, like, having a big thing. Could we have gotten on flattening the curve earlier? Maybe.
You're going there, Mr. Prano.
Listen, I've been quarantined for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Also, the idea of too soon. At some point on this show, we're going to have to get back to, just talking about sports the way we talked about it before, talk about Lakers players as they were.
Well, we need sports for this to happen.
Yeah.
It's part of the problem.
Yeah.
We're in such a standstill right now, and
everything's becoming sports news. Did you see Melo's claiming like he'd have multiple titles if he was on the Pistons? Like, this is what is considered sports news now.
I didn't see
Melo like sounding off on Instagram.
I didn't see it.
Yeah. It's not really worth covering.
Yeah.
He just said if they had taken him instead of Darko, he'd have multiple titles, which is wildly hilarious.
Well, we covered a couple months ago. Or, oh, no, this wasn't you. This was with Tug. You were out of town performing. We covered what Ben Wallace had said about that.
Which was what? I didn't listen.
It's 100% BS.
Yeah.
He said Carmelo would have completely ruined the dynamic of that team, and he cites things because he went on a podcast himself, Ben Wallace, and said that no.
Well, the thing that I saw people the conversation people had was then they wouldn't necessarily have had Rashid, but they would have still had Rashid because Rashid played the 4 and Melo was a 3 then. But like we got to talk about if we're gonna even humor Melo with this nonsense. Tayshaun Prince is way better at that 3 spot than fucking Carmelo.
Well, that's what Ben Wallace had said.
Yeah.
He talked about Tayshaun.
Tayshaun just lockdown wing guarder.
That's what he was saying.
Hella long. And then we got Carmelo. Oh, so on this team that's driven by defense, we're going to put a guy who plays no defense at the 3?
Well, that was the whole point. is that they all played
Well,
their
apparently
roles.
Carmelo Anthony didn't listen to your podcast, nor did he listen to the podcast Ben Wallace is on, because he's bored on Instagram talking about how he should have 3 championship rings from the Pistons.
Yeah. That's a crazy take.
Yeah. As many people know from this podcast, that was my greatest gambling moment in my life.
Yeah.
Was that Pistons championship. So I really am happy that Carmelo Anthony wasn't on that team. Can you imagine if he had ruined, like if I didn't have that fantastic double down on the Pistons from that season?
I almost rewatched some of that series. The NBA Network, or NBA TV, I'm sorry, has been re-airing just like NFL Network. And they did that, what was that, 2004
Yeah.
NBA Finals, Lakers, Pistons, which the Lakers lost 4 out of 5 games. The Pistons won 4 out of 5 games, I should say. And I should have watched those because that team, that was Ben's whole point if you listen to that podcast. They played as a team.
And they not only they play as a team, they had a great team, and they added Rashid, and it was just perfect.
Yeah.
It was perfection. That was so my my bet was I put $100 on them to win the title when they got Rashid, and I think at the time it was like 18-1 or something like that, and then I really tripled down, and I put another 300 on it pre-playoffs when they were, I think, still 7-1 to win the championship. I had no money at the time, by the way. I was not paying my rent to like gamble on the Pistons.
Pretty reckless.
Pretty reckless.
Yeah.
Unless you hit for what ended up being like, $3,900.
I wonder how this whole delay has affected the odds. Like how is this pause of the NBA season / who knows if they're ever going to finish affecting title odds? It's got to affect it in some way, right?
Yeah, but I imagine if you're a casino right now that the lines are off, right?
Yeah.
I can't imagine that you can bet on it because it changes everything.
Yeah.
How much rest everybody's been getting. I swear, I mean, if you follow Sam Tripoli on Twitter, he's still claiming this is all hoax and, there's no this is all a scam.
He still thinks that.
Oh yeah. He's just trolling people, and he does it after midnight. He does it Moscow Russian bot style. Like he only does things on overnights to he's just fighting with other bots.
At this point, is Sam just a walking troll or moron?
Yeah, but I said right when it happened, when the NBA eventually comes back, and we're going to talk about playing in bubbles or whatever, and the Lakers just cruise to a title because LeBron James has just had all of this rest. Sam Tripoli's going to start just get a gun and start shooting people. He's going to take out more people than the coronavirus. He's just going to lose his mind. He's going to be like, they made the Clippers play all these back-to-backs. Then they gave LeBron James this is 2 months off to rest.
No, he won't. He won't even know NBA's happening.
Right.
He's what we call a casual sports fan. Well, that is the news, or the, for a lack of term, that conspiracy being floated around now is that the NBA is possibly discussing, I don't know if anybody saw this, playing the season in some sort of bubble in 2 cities, whether it's somewhere in the Bahamas.
Now, this is a theoretical bubble, right?
This is according to...
This isn't a literal bubble. They're not like putting up a biodome.
Yeah, this is a theoretical bubble.
Right.
But by that they mean they would take... There's the 30 or 32 teams in the NBA.
32? Sounds right.
Okay.
30? No, there might be 30.
So they'll split the league.
32 football teams.
They'll split the league into halves, right? So either 15 or 16 teams. And in those 2 cities, they play the games without fans. And that bubble is going to include the players, the coaches, the trainers, but also announcers. Basically, it's like a giant campus. And they've discussed maybe even doing this on a college campus.
I love it. I'm all for it because it's like the idea of what is the other option is not have the rest of the basketball season.
Correct.
So when you're weighing it against, like let's just let everybody come back and play, which they're not going to do, and just let's have the NBA start again in whatever month and keep going. Like that's not going to happen. So why not do this?
Well, I guess it turns into a collective bargaining thing with the players saying they don't want to play without fans.
Why? Don't they want to have a winner this season? Don't they want to finish off this season? The majority of the money is coming from TV deals. Everybody's going to watch this.
I agree.
If they said, I mean, realistically, how many viewers do you think, if they announce today, right now, if they announce tomorrow, live on ESPN, 7 p.m. tomorrow night, Kawhi and LeBron James are going to play one-on-one. How many people tune in? 30 million? 40? All the peoples? 1 billion people. How many people tune in if they announce right now that tomorrow night LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard are going to play winners outs to 21 from an empty arena? Everybody? What are we doing?
Yeah.
I'm watching Ozark. I don't even like it.
I agree, man. I completely agree.
So, like, the TV money's just going to go through the roof.
Well, here's some quick numbers. The Wall Street Journal did a great article, which I read the other day. If the NBA does not continue for the rest of the season, Disney/ABC/ESPN is set to lose $400 million. TNT is set to lose $211 million in ad revenue. So between those two brands, corporations, you're talking over $600 million lost in revenue, which, like you're saying, I agree. You could still put the product out there. It sucks that there's no fans, and I know LeBron said he doesn't want to play without fans, and that whole situation isn't good or it's not ideal. But from a rating standpoint,
first of all, they're still playing for fans. They're just not playing for live fans. And also, everybody knows I'm a LeBron James slurper, but LeBron James isn't every player in the NBA. I don't think Carmelo Anthony's playing for fans. If he was, he'd pass.
yeah.
You know, a lot of people are like playing, well, the spirit of competition. But let's be honest, most of them are playing for money.
But how does this work? I'm confused. If you had 2 or 3 or ever how many campuses set in this bubble, how many courts are they playing on? Because there has to be so many courts, right, for 30 teams.
Well, I would imagine it would be something along the lines of like the NIT, where, Madison Square Garden's got 4 games started at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. and 8 p.m., and they're just grinding games out.
Yeah. Makes sense. I'm all for it.
You know what they could do?
What's that?
You know how the Saints used to pump crowd noise into the crowd to make their stadium louder?
Allegedly.
You could have a live DJ who puts in like audience reactions for every thing, so like it feels like the athletes have some fans there. We're not that far removed from holograms. What if we have hologrammed fans in the stands in the future?
I mean, everybody is on Zoom right now. Just put one gigantic screen on one side of the court, and we all FaceTime in.
Oh, I love it.
We're like, oh, shit. Oh, shit.
If they can play. It sucks that there's no fans, but if they can finish the season, imagine them just not finishing this season. They're already 60-plus games in.
It's really messing with like a lot of different. I mean, LeBron was supposed to pass the scoring title, 2.5 seasons from now or whatever. Like, there's a lot of things of just not playing the games.
Yeah.
In baseball, they're talking about shortening innings, 7-inning doubleheaders. There's a lot of things that are affected by it. Like, I was saying, I can't imagine having a baseball season that's less than 100 games. But when you think about, like, the Mike Trouts of the world that are chasing, like, all-time things, losing 60 random games is crazy.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but isn't it better than no games?
I agree. 100%. It's better than nothing. It is 100%
That's the
better
thing
than
that we're
nothing.
comparing it to. We're
Yeah.
comparing them to just not playing. So like, oh, we're really gonna have the NBA Finals in front of no fans. How about no NBA Finals? Who was the champion last year? There was none.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah, I think it could be cool.
Yeah. Well, it would be a time in history we'd all remember. You'd remember watching those games with no fans. It's such a unique, circumstantial situation that I would love it. And
I mean, I still remember the Knicks making the finals against the Spurs as an 8 seed. They were an 8 seed because it was a strike-shortened season.
yeah,
And they had injuries, and they just came together late in the year. But an 8 seed going to the NBA Finals.
yeah.
It's the kind of thing where anything can happen, but I think you just got to play it. And I don't know if that means shortening the regular season and getting to the NBA playoffs sooner. Baseball season obviously should have started a couple days ago now. We're eating away at the baseball. We'll eat away at the baseball season way faster than we have been the NBA. Like, how many games has the NBA missed at this point? 10? Major League Baseball will have missed 10 games in 6 days.
Well, there's talk of doubleheaders once baseball comes back and 7th inning doubleheaders. Again, all talk.
Right. Baseball is way more possible. I mean, you look at those sports, the sports complexes like in spring training and stuff like that. There are spring training complexes that have 6, 7 fields on them. You could play them all literally you could play 6 games at the same time.
Yeah,
Using the same parking lot.
yeah.
Let's go. Arizona literally Biodome, Phoenix Tempe, and let's just play baseball in this Biodome. Everybody else, get out. If you're not on a Major League Baseball team, get out. We've moved you. And to make it fair, you get to go to live in like Mike Trout's off-season home. You get to go to like South Jersey and live in Mike Trout's mansion. And Mike Trout's going to live in your house and play baseball. Florida. Well, I say stay out of Florida. We don't need to be involved in Florida. Put them all in Arizona. We will relocate people in the Phoenix, Tempe area.
So we're a couple weeks into this, especially out here in California. We were the first state to basically issue a lockdown. And you were saying in the car ride up, we're going to be here for a minute, but you also made a good point. If our state stays how we've been coming up on 2 weeks for another 30 days, you would think it would, just from a logical standpoint, it would have to flatline.
I have no idea. Yeah, you would think, but I have no idea.
The reason I'm bringing that up is if things flatline a little, you would think that would give more courage to sports leagues to go ahead. By the way, the money, I don't know if you're following us, the financial stuff is an issue. What I read was that baseball, they're paying their players, April, about $170 million in salary. But the owners are not going to really want to keep paying.
Right.
It's no different than us paying rent out here.
Yeah.
So then it turns into
They also all have that $1,200 coming to them, so that's nice.
yeah. It turns into a financial issue.
Yeah. Absolutely. Of course it does. And that's why the answer is to get the TV money.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to sell the hot dogs. You're not going to be able to sell the beers. You're not going to be able to hold us at knife point for parking and be like, you want to come in? It's $70. Like, well, I don't want to pay. Get in the stadium. But the TV deals, they make way more money on TV than they do on all that stuff anyway. Let's just play the games.
You know what, man? I've heard this term tossed around a lot, and I'm going to use it. And I used it when we discussed during our live broadcast of Super Bowl 43 on Friday. The reset button is good sometimes. It's awful that people are dying. It's awful that this is a worldwide pandemic. But you know what? Especially here and especially with capitalism, when the market can run amok, this is going to be good for sports in the long term, I think. Hear me out. Ticket prices were out of control. They were.
Well, that I don't think that's going to reset.
I think it will for a minute.
I think sports. I think they're just going to raise the prices when they come back.
I completely disagree. People are going to be scared. This thing is real. I think people are going to be scared to go to the ballparks, scared to go to the NBA arenas, the football stadiums. I mean, if you're a family of 4, you can't afford going to an NBA playoff game. You can't afford taking your kids to an NFL game and toss in parking and beer and hot dogs. The ridiculous overpriced from top to bottom. It's all overpriced, right? It's so ridiculously overpriced. I'm hoping, and I don't know how it could not reset that market and kind of say to the owners, hey, man, you guys are a bunch
But
of...
you're saying they won't be able to pay for it even because everybody will have been out of work and that kind of thing?
Everyone's been out of work. There's a fear factor of going into a stadium with other packed people. I think you'll see ticket prices be extremely low.
Well, I've told you many times, and like I saw it after 9/11 in New York. Like the couple months after 9/11, it was the first and only time in the history of New York City where people were like nice to each other.
Yeah.
But then one day you woke up and people were just back to swearing at each other and spitting at each other on the subway. Like if it does reset, it's going to reset momentarily. But I think, one season removed in all of these sports, like if they get to baseball season this year, opening day 2021, if they play any games this year in any fashion, owners aren't going to miss a beat. They're just going to be like, prices are what they are. Pay them or don't. We're making the majority of our money on we've talked about it before. What the owners don't understand is coming to the game, the experience of going to the game at a price point where they would actually be making more money. But they make so much money from the TV things. They're like, what is the max somebody will pay for a beer? What is the max somebody will pay for parking? What is the max? And they try to push that max point all the time, as opposed to saying, we've done it a couple times on this show. We've planned to go to like free hot dog night or beer and a dog for whatever night. Like those games are always sold out.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you guys not understand how this works?
Yeah.
Those hot dogs are,
so cheap to make.
Sautéed rat parts and bones. Like this costs you nothing.
Yeah.
This is the meat that Joe Exotic couldn't use on his tigers. It's like Walmart expired meat that the tigers turned down that then they just blend up, and then that's a hot dog. That's a ballpark dog. Like, it costs you nothing. Why would you not do this?
No, I agree.
But that's the thing. So, yeah, I think it'll reset for a little bit, but it's not going to have – like, I think a year from now, it's going to be a $16 beer at a ballpark.
And I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think for sure it'll reset for the 2020 fiscal year. I mean, how can it not? The same way we discussed rent. How can rent not reset in cities like Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco, where it's so expensive just to live, just to have a spot? It's so overpriced. It has to reset because nobody's going to be paying their rent. Yeah,
but I mean that's when you look at how all this has gone down with the government and everything. Like people get bailed out. Like oh well, is it going to reset? Airline prices. Everybody's like, yeah, we'll see when we get back to flying again. If they're still charging us to choose a seat, they will. They just got handed money from the government.
And for the record,
and by the way, before you go, if you've ever been on Twitter going like, Bernie's a socialist, that'll never work. You better not cash that $1,200 check. You better not take that free government money. You better not take that money that they printed for you, put in your bank account. If you're like always Donald Trump, capitalism, rah, rah, America, this is what we're built on, kill all the commies. America's just printing money now, just devaluing money.
What's going to definitely...
And by the way, they're not even printing it because it's never going to be in the form of an American dollar bill. It's just coming to you digitally.
It's going to definitely cause inflation. But concerning the airlines, we have them by the balls for like the first time since 9/11. And you're right. And it's sad. Maybe it's my all or nothing mentality. I don't want to give a penny to the airlines. You know what, Joe? I was going to say it. Fuck them. That's right.
Wow. Oh, my God. You cost yourself money just in doing that.
My take on the airlines is this. They nickel and dime all of us. Every single person listening or watching this show. Every single person. No one's excluded from this. Even very wealthy people. No one's excluded. They charge you. Where have we gone from pre 9/11 where you got a meal to now they charge you for the seats you select, luggage, all that stuff. They want to charge you everything. We have them. Let them fail.
Well, it's already over. We're not letting them fail.
But this is where I get so frustrated. They're the worst. The only airline I respect is Southwest because they don't.
Except you don't get a seat. That's another one. Like I tweeted, let everybody but Delta and JetBlue, because they're the only place that ever treated me with any sort of respect and gave me any sort of like care in my treatment. Like even since I've been traveling since I've been injured, like Delta was like, we'll move you to a bulkhead and we'll have somebody meet you at the thing. American Airlines was like, cool story, bro. What do you need? Like, you want a cup of water? Take some medication? I was like, I need like whatever. Like Southwest, what is this? If I buy an airline ticket, I want to know what seat I'm sitting in. Number and letter. Not choose, we'll give it to you at the gate, not line up like a herd.
I disagree, man. Southwest is the only.
Southwest is a bus.
But it's not.
First come, first serve.
It's not, though. If you get your ticket early enough, you get a better number.
And then you go, and then you got to, like, have no eye contact with people and, like, make it seem like you're sleeping on the middle of the seat so some fat guy doesn't come and take the middle row because D45 is an obese guy who bought his flight yesterday, and he comes down, and you have the thing. He's like, well, I'm not walking to the back.
I'm going to disagree with you on this one. I think of all the airlines I've ever flown, I love Southwest the most. They don't charge for a bunch of BS. They don't charge to move your flights. They just don't, dude. All these other airlines are the worst. They're without a doubt the worst. And the fact that we're bailing them out is a huge mistake to me. Let's not only let's reset how we treat people. Like, that's my whole thing on this whole coronavirus. Hopefully people aren't, besides binging, and that's fine, stay inside, binge watch all your shows. But maybe we should be mentally evaluating how companies, and I got to read the article. I saw a headline. It was something along the lines, and I'm a huge fan, I know you are, of his. Mark Cuban saying how companies treat customers, how they treat employees over this pandemic will greatly affect those companies for years to come, right? Who are the companies that are respecting their employees or respecting their customers? And the ones that aren't, you're never going to be loyal to again.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I've seen a lot of things where people are Whole Foods workers walked out, right? Because they're like, they want some sort of pay raise and or coverage and or like protection from this stuff. And it's like, dude, Whole Foods is owned by Amazon.
Yeah.
Like, how are you guys not taking? How much money do you need, dog? Like, you are making a lot of money.
Yeah,
You're
Jeff
the
Bezos.
wealthiest person on earth. Give every cashier $10,000 at a Whole Foods right now. $10,000 cash. You're working all the things till this pandemic's over. Are you in or are you out? He wouldn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even know it was gone. He'd make it up in, interest.
I saw someone with an interesting tweet. Obviously, you could never do this. It was saying if you taxed like the 1% wealthiest in America, did you see this?
No.
Like Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, those type of people, Warren Buffett's. If you tax them right now, like the amount of money they'd still have, like the argument was they could cover combined like a $2 trillion bailout. And again, you couldn't do that because that's personal wealth.
Right.
But it's just an interesting idea, I thought. An interesting concept. But to bring it back to sports, that is how I feel. The airlines are the rich NFL owner or, the business mogul who owns the NBA team, who does give the middle finger constantly to the fans.
Well, that's what's going on with my Mets is there's all this talk about how the Wilpons, backed out of that deal. They were going to get $2 billion for their team. They're not going to get $2 billion.
No. And you know what? That's another great thing.
And good. And good. Those guys Cohen wanted to buy the team. He's giving you great money. And you're doing this thing like you want control, whatever. Good. Nothing makes me happier than the idea that they just lost $500 million.
Well, that's a good point. I did read something else, too, about that. It was discussing how in a way, it's like the housing market or any other market where NBA, not just NBA, sports franchises were overvalued, right, Joe? Like at this point, it was saying what teams are costing now versus just 10 years ago. It's ridiculously double, triple the value. But it's saying this is going to reset that.
Good.
You're right. People aren't. If you want to sell an NBA team tomorrow, it was saying you could definitely get people to buy it, but good luck getting a mid-market team, a Milwaukee Bucks type team, to sell for $2 billion.
Yeah.
It'd be tough. So I don't know, man. This will be interesting how it all plays out. I think we're both in agreement, it sounds like. We want to see sports, whether it's in a high school gym or a playground or wherever.
And that's not even me being selfish, like, I need sports. Like, I actually miss sports less than I thought I would, in a way. I was like, oh, my God, they're canceling everything. Like, what are we going to do? But when you're in this, like, everything's so weird that it's like, it'd be weird to be watching sports now. But at the same time, I'm not even coming from a selfish sports fan. I'm just going for the history of sports, or for the benefit of your league. Why would you ever want to just not have it happen if you could have it happen? The idea of not playing it and not televising it and not whatever, play it just to play it and to trust the box scores or whatever, of course not. But to play it and be able to show it on TV so that you guys don't lose that TV money, so that we don't have to talk about not paying the players,
Yeah.
so that we don't have to talk. And obviously, if that leads to entertainment for us, that's a bonus.
Yeah, I agree. Well,
God damn it, I want to stop watching Ozark.
we can't not bring this up. We're discussing NBA owners and James Dolan.
Yeah.
You guy.
I mean, if this is what comes out of it, you know,
He got
if we're
he
all
got the Rona.
if we're all quarantined for weeks, and honestly, I've seen a lot of people, you know, James Dolan is hated, and I've seen a lot of people be like, you know what, this is karma and whatever, but also, like, I'm not wishing bad things. Like, I'm totally wishing bad things on James Dolan. He's a terrible person.
Yeah.
He treats fans of his teams like trash. He treats employees of his team like trash. He treats former players and employees of his team like trash. He's a bad person.
Yeah.
This is karma gonna get you. Like, I'm not saying I hope he dies, but I'm saying I hope that something bad enough happens where he needs to get out. Like, he needs to get out of being the owner of the Knicks, because ventilator for life, this guy. I mean, Stephon Marbury gave like 10 million masks or something like that to New York City. Like that, like Stephon Marbury, kind of a lunatic when he played for the Knicks, kind of a jerk, not the most unselfish basketball player, but like doing stuff. You'll never hear that James Dolan did anything like that, ever, because he's a terrible person. And honestly, it's funny that the news came out right after the news that he sold the Forum came out. Like, a lot going on in Dolan land right now.
Yeah.
Put him in a bunker, keep him away from everybody. You know, put him in one of those COVID tents in Central Park. Put armed guards outside of it. Never let anybody in. Never let anybody out. I never want to hear or see from him again. Karma's a bitch.
You believe in karma?
I mean, if this is the reason to believe it, this is good enough for me. I do now.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Tom Hanks got it. You got to wonder what he was up to, right? Seemingly a great guy. But James Dolan, I do not wonder.
It really has been interesting seeing who gets it. But I think it's a lot of these wealthy people, I'm not surprised because they travel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying, though? 'Cause if you travel a lot, I would assume you're more prone to have it because you've exposed to different countries, different cities, different people. Because people always seem surprised. They're like, wow.
I assume James Dolan got it because people spit at him all the time. And it's a saliva-borne virus.
Charles Oakley must be
I mean, look,
really, really enjoying this.
Like, think about it. If you're James Dolan, how much you must feel like a jerk. You go, everything I've done in my life causes people to think. The first thing people think when they see me is, I'd love to spit in that guy's face.
Yeah.
And now we have a virus? It's like, don't touch your face. Don't get airborne particles on your face. I'm surprised Dolan didn't get it faster.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's not patient zero. I'm surprised the bat didn't spit on him.
I heard he got it from making out with Harvey Weinstein.
James Dolan is patient zero. Can we go for a title? He's been hiding it for months.
By the way, I got to give a shout out. Side note. This amazing T-shirt I got in the
I
mail.
know you've just been having it sit here.
I don't know who gave me this shirt. It's a red.
It's Zach Keller.
Is it Zach Keller?
I think so.
If it's Zach, thank you. It's a red shirt with the Cincinnati Reds C logo, and instead of saying Reds inside the C logo, that C starts off the word chili.
Yeah. So we got a message from Zach on Twitter, right, a couple days ago, and he said, "Be on the lookout. Might ship 2 separate packages. You'll know which ones are meant for each of you."
Ah.
And I got one that said meats, and you got one that said meats in the Mets font, the script Mets font, and you got one that said chili. I'm assuming it's from him, although, like I said, the address label, the return address label on mine was not to Zach, but, maybe there's some confusion. So I'm pretty sure it's Zach, though. So
Love
shout out to Zach, because meats and chili, solid. I've already rocked my meats shirt a few times.
Can't wait to wear it.
Can't wait.
Let's get to some dirtball calls. We're talking about the dirtballs.
This is the new thing. Dirtball calls nice and early.
Well,
Have these been desanitized? We wipe these down?
you have the COVID. Let's get the calls going here.
Dirtball calls. We got the dirtball calls.
Nick singing the jingle. Is that making you angry? Is
No.
it reminding you of your boy?
It's not making me angry at all. How about you get us a song, Nick? Can you do that?
Just do the song, man. What's you need?
I'll say this much about Nick before we get to the calls. I told him this the other day. Nick can rap a little. Like he can spit some rhymes. We've been watching Lil Dicky on the show Dave, which I know you enjoy.
Yep.
It's a good show on FXX.
Little Nicky.
And we were all fired up the other day. We binged like 4 episodes in a row.
Yeah. Good show.
And old Nicky D over here was spitting some bars afterwards. And we all know he basically wrote most of Denttown Road.
Yeah. Now, were you upset to see Chris Wilde did Lockdown Road?
No, it was good. By the way, I fully support. Chris Wilde has done, I don't know, 10?
Honestly, yeah. I think he's at 8 or 9. 8 or 9 coronavirus tracks.
I support him.
Yeah. This guy has nothing but time on his hands.
Yeah.
I'm very close to texting him because I'm like, he's scraping the bottom of the barrel at this point. What did he do? I think he did a Neil Diamond one today.
He did.
I need Panda. I need Panda becoming pandemic. I just need pandemic.
No way Wilde even knows that song.
Well, he better learn it.
Yeah. All right, well, let's hear from the Dirtballs.
Andy, Joe, it's your number one farmer dirtball, Jay from Minnesota. I'm out on this lovely morning, a rainy Minnesota morning. I have a question for Joe. Should LeBron have left Carmelo Anthony to die in the sea, in your opinion, as a Knicks fan? How would that affected your life? Just like your take on that. And, as a farmer, I'm an essential worker, but I think everyone gets a little too high and mighty about that. Everybody else is just as essential that you guys stay put and do your part in this whole coronavirus debacle, and especially thanks to all the nurses and healthcare workers out there. So everybody keep on keeping on. Thanks for the content, guys. Stay dirty.
Thanks for the call. Thanks for all that you're doing out there on the farm.
And thanks for all the healthcare workers.
Yeah. The question was, should he have let Carmelo die?
Did you follow this?
No.
This was probably the same. Was this the same Instagram thing that he did with D Wade? Apparently, true story. During the banana boat thing,
Okay.
Carmelo jumped out in water, and
And surprise, surprise, Carmelo can't swim?
well, the tide kind of took him farther than he thought, and he went to kind of the middle of nowhere. And LeBron jumped in. Apparently, saved him with one arm.
Wow.
Like brought him back to the boat or wherever they were on a Sea-Doo, whatever it was,
Yeah, it was the banana boat. It was like the inflatable boat.
with one arm.
Wow. What year was this? What year did that happen? I mean, it doesn't. here's what I'll say. Carmelo Anthony, depending on the year, it would have been nice to not have Carmelo Anthony on the Knicks. But at the same time, I think the Carmelo Anthony era of the Knicks was important. They really bottomed out, and I really think that everybody saw Carmelo on the Knicks is what everybody needed to see. This is how not to play basketball. This is the epitome of how not to play basketball. You're in the big city. You're the big star. You just shoot all the time. You just want to play. You set a record-breaking number of losses for a team. Never got them anywhere. Never did anything. And honestly, the Mike D'Antoni Knicks, the Mike D'Antoni Knicks were going one way. Carmelo Anthony comes in. Mike D'Antoni shoots off. Carmelo Anthony stays. I really think that is the breaking point in the NBA. Everybody, two guys came in. They went their separate ways, and the whole league went with one of the two of them. The whole league went, we're doing it D'Antoni's way. And nobody does it Carmelo's way anymore. For a long time.
Is this the Robert Frost poem?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What's it called again?
The Road Less Traveled.
Yeah.
What is it? Path? One of those? I don't know.
Two roads diverged in the
Yeah,
yellow
but-
wood.
What's the poem
I
called?
think it's called The Road Less Traveled.
Yeah. Everybody, and the NBA's been better for it. The NBA is a great product,
Yeah.
and everybody's gone to sharing and shooting and speed and whatever, and everybody's got away from the style of basketball that is not pleasurable to watch and not successful, and only enjoyed by weird 40 to 55-year-old white men who, for some reason, think Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan wasn't white. Guys, stop it! You're like, well, what are you guys doing? This terrible, again, only 52-year-old white men like Sam Tripoli. They're the only people who like it. If he's even that young, I don't know. Only 50-something white guys were like, Michael Jordan, I still use Fruit of the Looms.
What do you think guys are doing right now? I have
NBA guys?
I have thought about that. Take especially the really
Gaming.
Is LeBron? He's just an easy example to you, or any of them.
Yeah, LeBron is not the example because he's not the typical guy.
LeBron's making TikToks with his family.
Yeah.
But take their day. I'm talking about the best, LeBrons, the Giannis's of the world. Are they playing ball every single day? Are they working?
Yes.
They have to be, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure they got their own courts in their houses.
Yeah.
Man.
Or someplace trained. But I think a lot of the guys are probably. I think Dame Lillard's getting up a lot of shots and laying down a lot of tracks. You know what I mean? I think John Morant's getting up a lot of shots, playing a lot of NBA 2K. I think it's just preseason for them. They're just working out and doing bullshit.
You know what we should do? You see all these celebrities, and I tweeted about it a couple weeks ago. It was getting on my nerves. All these idiot celebrities stay inside. Look, I'm all about people staying inside, but you shouldn't be the mouthpiece of this in your $10 million mansion that has everything. What we should do is you tell the celebrities, because it's a small group of people, you tell them, no, you go outside. We get your house. You like this idea?
No. I already had generally the same idea, but at least both parties were having it. We get the celebrity athletes' houses, but just to replace them in these bubble communities. You're gonna have to live in my 1,200 square foot ranch house in Goodyear, Arizona, and I get to go to your mansion, but only because you're coming to this bubble city. But otherwise, hey man, they earned it, right? Matt Damon can stay in his mansion.
Of course he can.
Right, Goodwill Hunting. Then you can have a mansion and not be running your podcast out of a studio apartment.
You're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm saying these people who stand on a soapbox who are trying to lecture.
I think it's important. The one thing I hate is when people go after people I don't care what stay in your lane. The whole thing is those are the people who have the most following. Why shouldn't they tell people to stay home or do whatever?
Well, I completely disagree. Then say it with some sort of humility and understanding that you live in.
Who are you talking about? Like, who specifically is like pissing you off?
You see a lot of them.
I know. I want an example because I haven't.
Chrissy Teigen is one of them. Your
I mean,
favorite.
yeah. Honestly, I have the words Chrissy and Teigen and Chrissy Teigen. I have the word legend muted on Twitter. I don't care how people. That's why I spell it legend now because I don't want to hear. You're not catching me off guard. I want nothing. That whole couple's muted. So didn't see it. But I haven't. I mean, besides the Imagine thing, which again was like pretty tone deaf, but like of just celebrities being dumb and bored. Like, I haven't seen anything that's especially heinous, like celebrity nonsense. But I don't follow anybody that's like one of those people.
Well, let's get to a very, very important question that has been.
But I don't think I even answered that question. No, I think LeBron should have saved Carmelo, and to come back to it, I think he should have saved him. I think that part of the NBA was important, but also I think him having saved him is why he didn't feel the need to save him in the basketball sense. You notice as LeBron on this like Melo, D Wade, Chris Paul, like he worked really hard to try to play with Chris Paul. He did play with Dwayne Wade twice. He never made that effort to play with Carmelo. And everybody's like, "Well, you pick up your boy. You pick up your boy." And it's like one thing we've seen LeBron do. Maybe he's a hero on the banana boat. He's never played hero ball. He's never been a hero on the court, and he's never tried to do heroic things in terms of like, I'm going to take this bum, ISO, no defense playing clown just because I hang out with him off the court. So I'm glad that he didn't save Melo for two reasons. One, it was good for the Knicks to bottom out, and it's good that he then didn't have to like bring him onto those Cavs team or the Heat or anything like that.
Well, next call is a question that has been asked throughout time, Joe, and I guess we are here to answer it.
Hey, Dirty Sports, it's JT, long-time listener from Jersey. I just had a question, if you guys could go over it. Does size really matter? Pretty simple question. Everyone talks about it all the time. Just like to get your take. Condoms are for Joe Bartnick.
Oh,
Wow,
man.
Old Joe Bartnick.
Lay off Bartnick. Does size matter? You've heard this your entire life. We've all heard it.
I mean, he is clearly talking about dicks.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'd say yes, it does. I mean, this would be my argument. Obviously, I'm not a female. Or am I? There's only so much you can do, right? With what you have, whether you're big, small, medium, whatever. So I would think, I guess I should change that. There's only so much you could do if it's a certain size. Small.
Right. I think that, again, I'm not a female either, but I've got to imagine that there's like a pretty solid hot zone, and that hot zone probably shifts in both directions depending on who you are as a woman. You know what I mean? I'm assuming there's too small and there's too big.
100%.
Right? So it obviously matters.
I think you want, it's kind of like the political spectrum. You never want somebody who's too liberal. You never want somebody who's too conservative. You want a moderate penis.
I think it's like an automobile. You know, you don't put Shaq in a Volkswagen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and also, you don't put you in a Ford F-150. Like, who? Like, now I've got to help you in and out of the car every day. We've got to have like a rope ladder that you toss out the door, like you're getting out of a a sizable boat. Like it's just you gotta.
My car fits me, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying, like, I'm not sure that you should be fucking Lizzo, right? And I'm not sure that Shaq should be fucking Shakira.
Why can't I have sex with Lizzo? She's too big for me?
You've got a certain amount of area just to push through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you need to send a scout in.
I gotcha.
Right?
I gotcha. I mean, look, I think it does matter. I think
Like I'm saying, to use a term, to use sort of a sexual term. If you were hitting it from the back, are you really hitting anything from the back?
well, the thing
You're just hitting her in the back, just like hitting her.
I feel like we're now taking his question of actual penis size and moving on to matching up with somebody.
But my point is, of course it matters, but it doesn't matter simply like the bigger the better. You know what I mean?
I mean, look, but I do think you make valid points as far as matching up.
Like
though.
I would love a bigger penis, but I don't want twice as much penis.
Yeah.
I think there are probably people out there who would be like, I would take twice as much penis.
Yeah.
I don't want twice as much penis.
All I know is an old equation in physics. F equals ma. Force equals mass times acceleration. So it's all about your acceleration, and your mass is a multiplier of that acceleration. So you can definitely get by.
We're calling him Nicky Jackhammer now.
The jackrabbit. No, so it definitely helps. Yeah, I think it has an impact.
Nicky Newton over here. When did Isaac Newton take over the mic? Look, it matters, but also knowing how to use it definitely matters. I always tell people, I feel like too many people are too scared to ask their partner what they like. So that's my one piece of advice if we're going to touch on this topic. Ask your partner, your wife, whoever it is, your lover, ask them what they like, what turns them on, what don't they like. People are too scared to talk in the bedroom.
I think, the idea that a man, a dirtball, not a dirtballette, is calling in to ask us, it's clearly one side of the equation, right? Like, I think, whatever the female version of dirty sports is, dirty panties or whatever, I'm sure that they would have
dirty panties.
I'm sure that they would have a different response to this. But again, I just can't see Andy like rope laddering out of an F-150.
Yeah, like I said, I think I picked the right vehicle. I mean, come on. A little hatchback fits me. I'm a little guy. Now, what about me getting out of like a Lamborghini? Still just as ridiculous.
No. So look at small dicks everywhere have Lamborghinis.
What are you saying, Joe?
I'm just saying small those are the guys who drive them these days, right?
Yeah. All right,
that's not an attack on you. I'm just saying you're probably even better off.
One more call?
Sure.
Hey, what's up, boys? It's your number one retired stripper dirtball, Bryson. I told Andy on a previous call that y'all didn't make it to that after I retired. I work for Anheuser-Busch now. I'm one of their salesmen out of the Atlanta, Georgia area. So working for y'all's competitor, but it's okay. I'm still glad y'all got that Miller Lite sponsor. Y'all been wanting it for years, so I'm happy for that. Well, my question is, sitting here pondering this on the way home, there's not much sports going on. How much longer are we going to have your traditional pocket passers in the NFL? Because as you can see, we're starting to go away from that. With even for Baker Mayfield, for instance, I know he's not a running quarterback, but he's athletic enough to roll out the pocket, get away from pressure. I mean, how much longer are we going to have these Tom Brady's, the Peyton Mannings, the Matt Ryans? I mean, do you see 5-10 years from now us having any quarterbacks like that, or are they all going to be these more athletic guys that can at least run for first downs if they need to? That's just my question. I don't think we will have anyone like a Tom Brady or a Matt Ryan, for instance, like that. I think they're all going to be really athletic coming the next 5-10 years. So what do y'all think? Stay dirty.
First of all, I hope Bryson survives his coronavirus. Wow, after he got out of stripping, did he just become one of the guys? Is he one of the Snell family on Ozark? I want you to allow my people.
The Snells kind of have a little Ed Orgeron to them.
I want to. I agree with him and disagree with him simultaneously, because I think that I hate to go back to it, but I think it's kind of the same as the other question. It's like all what fits your system, and all what and I also think the Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Daniel Jones, Josh Allen type of I can scramble and I can throw on the run is going to be way more prevalent than the Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, like Cam Newton. Like I've said it before, I'll say it again. I took a lot of heat on this show over the years when I said Cam Newton was good, Dwight Howard and whatever. It's like it's not sustainable. Lamar Jackson is not sustainable. It's not. Even Josh Allen, who I threw in there, not nearly as sustainable. Ben Roethlisberger is a good example of a guy who's like very mobile, but took a lot of hits, and it catches up with you. I think Ben lasted longer than his style of play really should have, but he's obviously also a very big guy.
Yeah.
Romo, all of these guys, like I just don't think.
Well, let's look right now.
I think you have to be a pocket passer first with the ability to scramble.
By the way, I would not put Kyler Murray in that mix. I watched a lot of him this year. He knows when to get down. He doesn't.
Knowing when to get down is neither here nor there. Knowing when to get down, it's just a numbers game.
You look at the top young quarterbacks. I'll put him in that. Let's look in the last few draft classes. What type of guys we have? We have Kyler. We have like a Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield. You said Josh Allen. Now let's look. Let's look who's
Sam Darnold runs a little bit.
Sam Darnold. Let's look who's coming out. You have Burrow can actually move. Burrow's athletic.
But Burrow's a great example of a guy in the NFL. He's going to move and he's going to slide, but he's not. I mean, slide out of the pocket and stuff like that.
So we have Burrow. We have Tua. Herbert's more of a pocket passer, I think, from Oregon. Then you have what's his name from Clemson coming out next year. Trevor Lawrence. Very athletic, very mobile. I think you're definitely going to have more of the guys who can move, but it's also a matter of finding that balance. I mean, guys, Patrick Mahomes already got hurt.
Yeah.
Year 2.
Yeah. And if you look over the last, 2-3 decades, a lot of the guys who have had success already were those guys. I mean, Montana was fairly mobile. Steve Young was hella mobile.
John Elway.
Like
Brett Favre.
Yeah, Favre. Manning and Brady, they're really two of the guys. And Breeze, like, not really mobile, but, like, fine moving. But, like, Manning, Breeze, the Manning brothers, Breeze, even Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's pretty good, like, sliding around. Like, as he's gotten older, he has it. But, like, when he was younger, he moved fine. I'm talking about in terms of moving the pocket, and I'm not talking about running for first downs. But, like, I still think, again, the Giants quarterback, Daniel Jones, holds the ball way too long for me. He's going to get killed in the pocket before he gets killed out of the pocket. But, like, he's an example of a guy who I like. Like, that's the style of play. To me, it's like, stay in the pocket, try to pass. If it breaks down, be able to move. And then, of course, like, be able to get down and whatever. But, like, the idea of having, like, an athletic quarterback or, like, a running quarterback, I still just don't think it's going to go there because it's too hard to stack those guys and say our offensive system is Lamar Jackson, and if it gets hurt, it's Robert Griffin. Like, for example, how do you back up Kyler Murray? How do you back up Russell Wilson? How do you back up these guys? Look at the Steelers. They're like, we're going to play Ben Roethlisberger's offense, and then if he goes down, we're going to put Duck Hodges in. It's like you have to have a system in place that goes, this guy goes down, this guy fills in. And I just don't think that's reasonable where you're not going to miss a beat, unlike the Patriots, who went, what? Would they go? 12 and, in all the years of Tom Brady's first, they went 11-5 with Matt Castle. They went 4-0.
No, I know what it is. They went, I believe,
it's like 16-5, 15-5.
14-6.
Yeah.
So they won 70% of their games.
They're just like, learn the system.
Yeah, but I don't know if I necessarily agree with you saying, oh, if Kyler Murray goes down, I don't know who their backup is in Arizona. But I think a lot of these guys are such good pocket passers too that your traditional pocket passer that comes into the game can fill that void.
I think it's kind of a lot like how the NBA centers are now shooting the ball from three a lot.
Exactly.
And but there's still going to be a place for the DeAndre Jordans of the world, just like a big guy down low who can get boards, put back layups, stuff like that. The pocket passer, I mean, it's just traditional football that's always worked.
But you're right.
But
you did make a good point though.
We're
forgetting all these guys who were mobile.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. The Joel Embiids and Giannis and all these guys that are 7 feet tall, but that's different than saying every NBA center is gonna be Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's 7 feet tall.
Yeah,
I don't care what he says. Kevin Durant is 7 feet tall. He's not a center, and that's the thing about the NBA is the NFL is I just don't see it going the way of college football where 15 years from now, everybody's Lamar Jackson. I just don't see it. Not Lamar Jackson because he's obviously a freak athlete who won the Heisman and whatever. But I'm just saying I don't see it becoming the Big 12 where everybody's running because it's just not sustainable.
he is a guy I really am excited to see how this year would play out. He had such a great year last year, obviously won the MVP. But he's a quarterback where NFL coaches are so smart, right, Joe? They adapt. They have a full more year of game film on him. Somebody does he modify his game even more? You know what I'm saying? To where he's not rushing for 1,000 yards.
But again, even look at just the success. Jared Goff's a pretty athletic guy, and he runs for first downs. And Jimmy Garoppolo has run. But look at the quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. Let's just keep going backwards. We've got Mahomes and Jimmy G. I wouldn't think that anybody would consider them the athlete that Bryson's asking about. Would you? I mean, I think Mahomes is the peak version of a very mobile guy, but he's definitely he threw 50 touchdowns 2 years ago. You know, you've got Tom Brady, who's a statue, and Jared Goff. You've got Tom Brady and Nick Foles. You've got Tom Brady and Matt Ryan. When has that guy shown up in the Super Bowl yet? I mean, Kaepernick?
You're talking the Lamar Jacksons.
I'm talking about a guy who's the dual threat. We're looking at Cam, Kaepernick, both lost the Super Bowl. I mean, that's fine. Getting the Super Bowl is enough. Russ, but again, the thing about Russ is everybody likes to talk about Russ is Pete Carroll refused to call a run for Russ ever. He just doesn't do it. They never put him in a position where you're gonna and if it is, it's a trickery. You're gonna go this way and I'm gonna bootleg out. They're not running quarterback draws.
Yeah,
they're not running. I mean, the run pass option that they do, he's never keeping it. That's the thing. He's not keeping it. And if he does, it's wildly rare. So, and the idea again of a Russell Wilson type of a pocket passer who then scrambles, yeah, I think that we can see that. But how much different is Russell Wilson than Andrew Luck? Andrew Luck ran for first downs. Andrew Luck ran the ball. How much different is Russell Wilson from John Elway?
I would argue not, really.
Right. So the idea, honestly, how much different is Russell Wilson from Joe Montana? Maybe he's running the ball a little bit more, but I don't think we've seen that much of a change in terms of oh, we're going to go to these crazy athletes.
Yeah.
I mean, John Elway, Steve Young, that's 30 years ago.
Yeah. Those guys could run the ball.
Yeah.
If they had to. There is a big difference in a called run play designated for the quarterback versus play breaks down, he runs.
Right.
And that would be a concern of mine if I'm a Bills fan.
Right.
If you watch them, they did do a lot of designed quarterback draws. With,
Josh Allen's a big guy.
He's a
and
big
great.
guy,
And
yeah.
but how long does that last?
Yeah. You got to protect the quarterback.
So, I mean, to answer, I just think it's going to be more and more that the offenses are going to change and they're going to go. Everybody wants to be able to move. Everybody wants to be doing what's successful.
Yeah.
But there's only so many Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes type. Like, hey, scramble this way and throw across your body 40 yards.
Well, if you guys have a call, the hotline, as always, 310-359-8365. Put that in your phone. And if a British lady answers the phone to leave a message, then you have the right number. Let's continue the quarterback conversation. Funny news came out with ya boy, Jameis Winston.
I feel like this is the Jameis update. We might need like a bumper. Like, Jameis news. Like, we are all in on reporting on everything that happens in Jameis land.
Well, at this point, we don't have much sports news to discuss, and he's one of the few free agents.
And also, it's my life's work to, like, all this started because somebody, don't forget, somebody randomly replied to a tweet that I did never tag them in. Decided to jump into our pool, jump into the Dirty Sports pool. And now, as you know, I never let any arguments with trolls ever die.
Well, Bruce Arians told Rich Eisen that Jameis was actually the third option for 2020.
That they liked Brady and they liked Bridgewater.
Yeah, and that was it.
And they liked Jameis.
So basically, he said this on Rich Eisen's show. It was Brady, Teddy Bridgewater, then Jameis. So that says a lot. You're talking about a very seasoned NFL coach who was successful for many years.
I mean, everybody on record is liking Bruce Arians and the Bruce Arians hire and Bruce Arians as a coach, right? Even Jameis 1 of 1, for example, on record as saying he's the QB whisperer. He's the great QB guru. He's an offensive genius. Look what he did with Carson Palmer. Look what he did with Andrew Luck. Look what he did with Ben Roethlisberger. Even the people who defend Jameis more than anybody has ever defended Jameis are on record. You can look up their tweet history saying, give me Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians is what Jameis Winston needs. He's the quarterback guy. Jameis Winston is the guy. So now what? So now the quarterback guru, guy everybody loves, doesn't like Jameis.
On
as
record.
much as he likes 43-year-old Tom Brady, who no one else in the league wanted, and Teddy Bridgewater, who is a former backup for the Jets and the Saints, and now is the quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. They had him under those guys.
Yeah.
We have a Jameis-related question in the YouTube
Great.
comments that I've been trying to get to. Courtesy of Aaron Maharis Twerks with Wolves. Would you rather be forced to eat Skyline chili for every meal for the rest of your life or have Jameis Winston signed as the franchise QB of your favorite team? Minimum 5-year maximum contract, potentially ruining the team's salary cap.
I mean, that's an easy answer. I don't eat Skyline chili.
Every meal.
Every meal. Twerks, come on.
You should have said for a year.
Yeah.
Every meal, every day.
How about,
Every meal for a year or 5. I might do the
how
chili.
about just like for 5 years, for as long?
It's a long time.
Yeah.
Eat the same meal over and over. We've been stuck in our apartments for 2 weeks. Everybody's losing their goddamn minds.
Yeah.
Imagine the idea of being under a food quarantine and
Oh,
it's canned Ohio chili.
be awful.
I mean, where is Ohio even on like the states whose chilies you'd want to eat first list? I don't even are they even a top 5 chili state?
Come on. Show a little respect.
I'm just saying, because you guys have a warring, terrible chili restaurants, doesn't mean, you know what I mean?
I have the top 6 cities for chili right here in the United States.
According to what?
According to the Huffington Post.
Oh, Huffington Post is hot flaming trash.
Number 6, we got Dallas. Number 5, we got Denver. 4, Washington, D.C. 3, Fairfax, Virginia.
Washington. Who's eating D.C. chili?
I don't know.
This-
Apparently,
this-
the Red
Ru-
Apron
By the way,
Butchery.
Ruther's gonna love this when Cincinnati's 2 or 1. He's gonna be like, "Oh, Huffington Post."
Number 2, Los Angeles, apparently. And coming in at the number 1 best place to get chili in the United States is the Institute of Chili Truck in San Antonio, Texas.
Wow.
So Cincinnati and Ohio does not crack the top 6.
Well, the Huffington Post is trash.
Okay.
I will only read one publication at this point in my life, the Wall Street Journal, courtesy of none other than Walt Ruther letting me use his access.
I would eat chili every meal for a year to make sure that
Every meal?
every meal for a year. If the New York Giants were saying we have a deal in place, we're giving him the Jared Goff money for 5 years. We're about to slide this across the desk. 5 years, we're all in. We're giving him up. We're giving him as long as it took Andy Ruther to get through college to prove he can or cannot be our quarterback. We're signing a deal right now. 200.
Wait,
100
signing who?
Jameis Winston, $200 million, 120 guaranteed. He's getting 40 a year for 5 years, or you're eating chili every meal for a year. I'm like, give me that sweet, sweet skyline.
By the way, what are these digs at me taking 5 years to graduate college? I finished with a good GPA, and I was a double major. You've taken a few digs lately, like Ruther taking 5 years.
I was just trying to think of things that take 5 years. What else jumps out to your mind? What else happens in 5-year blocks?
I don't know.
If you said 4 years, I would have gone the average person's college, the time between Olympics, presidential elections.
I want to
You know
address
what I
something,
mean?
by the way. I had a conversation with one of my good buddies from college the other night, and this goes back to our live broadcast of the Cards Steelers Super Bowl 43, where I said I've blacked out 1,000 times in my life. And there was a huge debate on YouTube and in the show. Has Ruther really blacked out 1,000 times from drinking in his life? And I explained that I am a very big lightweight when it comes to drinking. My buddy
and edibles.
And edibles.
And pot in general.
Yeah, drugs. I'm pathetic. I admit it. There's no denying it. I am a lightweight with drugs, any sort of mind-altering substance. My buddy confirmed. He's like, "Oh, you the worst." This is somebody I went to school with 4 or 5 years. He's like, "You basically blacked out every time you drank. The next day, you definitely would not remember certain things."
We just lost a picture.
Oh, it scared the shit out of me.
Just blacked out again.
I thought,
That was Ruther blacking out off the wall.
Jesus, and it's not even hanging. I thought the Raiders,
Yeah, I know
Ray
what you
Guy.
thought.
Oh my God.
Now, I'm actually surprised that it took you as long as it did to quit drinking. Like, the blackouts for me were the real wake-up days. Where you're like, maybe I take a couple weeks off here.
Which I used to do.
Especially after I hit maybe, 25,
Yeah.
26. I remember, maybe birthdays or, 4th of July. Which my birthday's the 5th of July. So it was always, a 4th of July blackout into my birthday. But, at 25, 30, 30 years old is a real line in the sand. You're blacking out after 30,
Yeah. It's
every time you're drinking.
I mean,
And
not,
how old were you when you quit? You were 34, 35,
no, I'm
33.
I'm coming up on the denting happened April 5th, 2014. So 6 years come
So you would be
Sunday.
32 years old?
I was 32 years old.
Okay.
The last time I really drank. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, dude,
I only drink responsibly. That's my thing. I don't know if you know that about me.
as you should. I mean, do you know
I'm just going to have that one today.
Like-
That's it. Just one. Just having one.
a single Miller Lite? Like, have you ever hooked up with somebody and not remembered it?
I
Like no memory at all.
don't think so.
No.
Like I've done that multiple times.
That's one thing. I think if I'm blacked out,
Like that's a problem.
if I'm blacked out, that was my focus for the evening. You know what I mean?
One of my favorite stories.
I've had really rough,
yeah,
spotty memories of it.
browning out.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you a story real quick because we have a minute here. One of my favorite ones of not remembering was I was in college. I was in my 4th year. I was dating somebody at the time, and this talk about aging myself. My buddy calls me on my landline. I didn't even have a cell phone. This is 2004. My buddy calls me. He goes, "Hey, how was last night for you?" This is fine. I was like, I got really drunk. I don't know. Just woke up. It's like 1 in the afternoon. He goes, "Did you do anything with anybody last night?" I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Bro, you completely hooked up with so-and-so." And I'm like, "I did? I have a girlfriend." He's like, "Yeah. And you don't remember?" So this is what happened. I went to some sorority event. We're leaving the bar. A girl sits on my lap. I start making out with this girl. And apparently all the other girls in the sorority are like, Ruther has a girlfriend? What is he doing? I have no memory of this. I hook up with her at her place. I go back to my apartment in St. Louis. And so my buddy tells me this, and he goes, "Dude, check your underwear." And I go, "What?" He goes, "The reason I know her roommate. She said Ruther took off this morning and left his underwear, and you just walked back freeballing." And like there it was, like it was one of those where you just pass out in your clothes. And I look, yep, had my shorts on with no underwear. Like I had a few of those instances where somebody would have to tell me, like, "Yo, dude, you hooked up with somebody and you have no memory of it." And you're right. I should have been like, that's a sign. Maybe I shouldn't drink. Like if you have sex with somebody and don't remember it, that's not a good way to live your life.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I mean, other than like maybe having girlfriends that I was like in a stable relationship with and we just got like too drunk. You know what I mean? Too drunk and whatever. But no, I don't think so, because I think for me to get blackout, that's going to be like my sole goal for the night is to like get blackout.
Yeah.
Or like it just departed. Like I think my last like major blackout where I'm like, "Oh my God, how did I get from A to B?" was
Kobe?
No, because I still remember everything about the Kobe night. I mean, not everything, but I remember being here. I remember leaving here. I remember leaving my place after. I remember everything that happened. Like, and again, that's just proof that you should eat before you go out. It was. I've said before, that's not in my top 100 hangovers.
Crazy.
The Giants' second Super Bowl with Eli, Dave Briggs was like, "We got to go rage after." And he's like, and I was just hammered. And then he was like, "We got to go to the strip club." And we went to the strip club, and then he had to leave, and I left with him. And then I remember them not letting me back in, which is good because I only went with Dave. And then I remember trying to hail a cab. This is pre-Uber. Trying to hail a cab on Olympic Boulevard. Like I was in New York City, just like walking out on Olympic Boulevard with my arm out, and cops coming over and being like, "What are you doing?" And me being like, "I'm just celebrating a championship. Like we won."
Yeah.
And they were like, "We need some ID." And I remember pulling my phone out and just like literally throwing it in the air and being like, and it fell and it cracked, and I was like, "God." And I have no idea how I got home. I'm pretty sure the cops drove me home because I have no idea how. I didn't.
Yeah.
Unless they called me a cab, but I didn't have any cash on me. But I actually did have cash on me because Dave Briggs gave me $200 in cash, and then the next day I was like, "How was the strip club? Did you go back in?" I was like, "No." And he's like, "Man, I give you $200 in cash," and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to have taken $200 from somebody." And then I went into my pocket, $200 still there, returned it to Dave Briggs.
Hey, what's the craziest place? Have you ever woken up in a crazy place where you have no memory, you've been drinking all night?
That's probably the crazy. I mean, I woke up at home, but like I didn't know how I got there.
Yeah.
But no, I think I'm pretty good at like finding my way back to where I need to be.
See that? I mean, that's my.
I've never like woken up on the street, obviously,
That's
or
what I'm
woken
saying.
up in a field, or woken up.
I mean, I've literally woken up on sidewalks, subways, park benches, strangers' houses next to a girl. I mean, it's like, dude, it's bad. Like, I woke up once in St. Louis. I think I've told this story. Maybe it was this or Dent Report. I woke up on a sidewalk in St. Louis at like 8 a.m. on a sidewalk, and not a good area. Within a minute waking up and me like standing to my feet, Some dude's like, you in the wrong neighborhood, cracker. Like, that type of shit I've woken up in.
I feel like that would just scare me if I did it once. I'd be like, well, I gotta take it easy.
I just got used to it. That was the problem. I got used to being so blacked out.
I'm more concerned, like, I feel like you don't have good friends. Who's letting you, like, just go?
I go rogue. That's my problem. I was the type of guy, I'd be at the bar, I'd be at the party, I would just leave. I go rogue. Some people, when they get drunk, they get angry. I was never that, or some people get different. My mentality was like,
I mean, we have a pretty good one of you angry in Austin.
okay, you have that, but usually I was a happy.
You were pretty angry at your shirt.
I agree, but I was.
Stop it, Joe. Stop it.
I'm so lit in that.
You couldn't get your shirt on.
I was normally a happy drunk, is my point, but I would also take off. Dude, when I lived in Madrid, man, my friends would say, we're with you all night. Suddenly gone from the bar. Then same thing. I'd wake up on a subway in Madrid with all my clothes on, like noon the next day. The fact that no one ever robbed me, that's the biggest miracle. Of all the places I've woken up, sidewalks, subways, park benches, strangers' houses, the fact that no one ever took even the denting, I woke up with my wallet on me. That's the craziest thing.
It's crazy.
I'm like the luckiest dude ever. And we'll be holding a 6-year memorial on this Sunday. If you guys want to join me, we'll be doing a live YouTube. I'm going to go to the sidewalk.
Don't be Andy Ruther. Don't drink irresponsibly.
I agree.
I don't know what you're out there to prove, but, just be responsible. See, me, I'm a responsible drinker. I can just enjoy 2 to 3 Miller Lights on any given evening. It's a very responsible amount, and it's delicious. That's the best part of it, too. So now I can enjoy one of the things I really love the taste of. It's like, don't eat 1,000 gallons of ice cream. You're never going to be like ice cream anymore. I just have a couple cones.
I think that's the difference between me and you. You've always been under control with that stuff, and you're right. In the same way with food. Dude, last night I got into my Trader Joe's peanut butter cups.
Those are good.
They're really good, right, Nick?
Yeah.
But I couldn't. Like, my mind's saying, yo, dude, chill out, man. But my body's going, you want more. You want more. Dude, it's awful. I can't control myself at times. I mean, what did I eat? Nick saw me Thursday, Prano, and he's like, dude, what? I ate 2 burritos. Then I cooked nachos for myself, taquitos. It's like you couldn't stop eating.
It's not easy this time. You get hungry. Like a lot of the times, whenever I get bored, like you'll often eat just to like entertain yourself.
That's the biggest problem with this quarantine.
Yeah,
everybody's just eating out of boredom.
Exactly. So I think that's kind of what you were going through that night when you had the taquitos. I was proud of you though. The other day when we went to McDonald's, you just got 2 sandwiches.
Oh, it was so hard. We went to McDonald's.
By the way, have you seen the tweet that's going around with like the would you eat this all in like 90 minutes for like this like McDonald's tray that's got like 3 burgers on it and 2 things of nuggets and like a thing of fries and like 4 drinks. It's like, would you eat all this in 90 minutes for $3,500? I'm like, I'll eat it all now because I'm hungry. Like, it's not even a lot of food.
That's usually Ruther's order.
Yeah, it's like a ridiculously like of all the good content we've got out there, somebody just tried to like make a meme that's like only popular because everybody's going like, I'll eat it right now, dude. Like it's like not that much food. It's like 3 sandwiches.
But you can eat. This is where we are. You can eat a lot.
Dude, I had a full Chipotle burrito this morning, double wrapped. Ate it in like 3 minutes.
My go-to, like if I go to McDonald's, I'll do the 2 for $3. I'll do 2 McDoubles, 2 McChickens, and then usually Nick and I'll split a large fry.
That's all right.
But yeah, when I go to McDonald's, I try not to overdo it because I know it's going to taste great, and I'm going to feel like trash after. So I'll go the double cheeseburger, McChicken, small fry, sweet tea.
Go double cheeseburger plain, extra slice of cheese, 6-piece nugget. Fry.
Isn't that just a McDouble? Isn't that like the...
No. McDouble only has 1 slice of cheese. Double cheeseburger has 2 slices of cheese. I go
and
double
extra
cheeseburger.
bread, right?
No.
No.
No extra bread, just extra cheese.
You know what we learned though? His double cheeseburger with an extra slice of cheese costs the same as 2 McDoubles.
Loophole. You get a McDouble with 2 extra slices of cheese. It's only a 30-cent upcharge for 1 slice of cheese, so 60-cent upcharge.
I don't want McDonald's adjusting my sandwiches.
I agree.
Burger King, have it your way. This is something they take pride in. McDonald's, those are hot and ready. I'm not trying to have your fingers in. That's how coronavirus started. Some guy going, can I get it with no pickles? And some minimum wage worker who picks his nose for a living gets your pickle off your sandwich.
Good luck ever going anywhere without.
I take my own pickles off my sandwich.
But at least it's fresh.
No, good luck, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Actually,
they're not making it fresh.
this-
They're just thinking an adjustment.
Yeah.
They're just like going in and fixing a sandwich for you.
This would be the Nick challenge to order a meal without a modification.
Like I don't like onions, but like I just like deal with the onions on a McDonald's bread. I pull the pickle out, but I pull the pickle out as I eat it. Like I'll take a bite and then I see that pickle and I yank it. I don't need somebody making adjustments to my McDonald's meal.
I'm really hungry right now. I think we should wrap up this episode
Sure.
and get some grub.
Okay. I had a gigantic burrito right before I got here, so
Oh, man.
but we'll figure it out.
All right, guys, that's the show. Thanks for tuning in. Follow us on social media. Subscribe on YouTube. Drop an iTunes review. You know what to do. Come on.
Yeah. At Joe Prano on Instagram, at Fix Your Life on Twitter. I don't really have a whole lot else. Stay inside. Wash your hands.
Yeah, wash your goddamn hands. Stay inside. Don't be spreading this stuff.
Twitch.
I was going to say play Nick.
Twitch.tv/Nick Dale. I'll be live Wednesdays and Fridays.
Oh,
Ooh.
he's got a little sketch.
Sketch. Gotta keep him honest.
Nick, anything good come through on the chat while we were doing the show?
Stanga. Saying he woke up on a roof once.
Solid.
That's a good one.
They
Dangerous.
found me laying on my side. I had puked and was running down the roof into the gutter.
It's a pretty good one.
Solid.
I feel like Stang and I could maybe go toe-to-toe on dumb near-death episode is what I needed, Joe. Divine intervention. Okay, guys, that's the show. Thank you for the support. Stay safe, stay inside, and most importantly, stay dirty.